Hi, today we're going to be looking at the salary of pharmacy assistants and pharmacists in South Africa. I'm Manithan Ryan, a medical doctor with more than 20 years of experience in the healthcare industry, both in the clinical and management field. So let's go ahead now and look at these salaries. In 2009, the Occupational Specific Dispensation for Pharmacists and Pharmacy Assistants was created. This resulted in a career path and an improvement in the salaries for both the pharmacists and the pharmacy assistants in South Africa. The Occupational Specific Dispensation resulted in three categories being created, one being the pharmacy assistant, secondly the pharmacist under the general stream, and the pharmacist under the clinical and policy stream. According to the OSD, the basic grade 1 is a pharmacist assistant that is in training. Once you've completed your training, you move on to a grade 2, and thereafter 10 years you move on to a grade 3. So this basic grade 1 was previously known as the learner basic. So this was abolished and a basic grade 1 was only created. Once you've completed your post-basic qualification, you then move on to a grade 1, 2, and 3 level. A pharmacist under the general stream has to first complete his internship, community service, and then moves on to a pharmacist grade 1, 2, or 3. After 3 years, you will be eligible to become a supervisor grade 1 or an assistant manager, deputy manager, manager, or senior manager, pharmaceutical services. For the clinical pharmacist position, grade 1 and 2, you require masters in clinical pharmacology. For the policy, you do not require any further qualification. Let's go ahead now and look at the components of the salary. The pharmacist salary is based on a total cost to employer package, meaning that 70% of the total cost to employer being discussed will form your basic, and the other 30% will have to be structured. The pharmacy assistant category is based on a notch or basic salary with the following additional benefits: housing, medical aid, which ranges between 16,872 to 64,688 depending on the number of beneficiaries you have, a birthday bonus, which is equivalent to about 8.3% of your basic salary, the employer contribution to pension, which is 13%. And finally, the inhospitable or rural allowance, pharmacists are 12 and 17%, which we will be looking at now. As a pharmacist assistant basic grade 1, you start off with 123,000 rands per annum. Your minimum total cost to employer is 149,240. This includes your pension, the employer contribution, and birthday bonus. Your net salary being 9,873, that is after you've paid your pension and your taxes. So as we can see, a basic grade 2 is 166,689, and a post basic moves on to 208,383 to 262,068 rand on a grade 3 level. Here you require 5 years of experience before you are placed on a post basic grade 2, and with a post basic grade 3 you need 13 years of experience. Your net salary being 13,017 rand and 15,097 rand as a grade 1 and grade 2, and 16,355 as a grade 3. This is after paying your pension and taxes. Now let's look at the pharmacist under the general stream. Firstly, you would have to work as an intern. Once you've completed your intern, you move on to community service, then grade 1, 2, and 3, and then you can take on either a position as a pharmacy supervisor, assistant manager, deputy manager, manager, or senior manager. As a pharmacist intern, your total cost to employer is 350,817. With the internship and community service, these are contract posts, so you can opt out of pension. Therefore, your salary will increase as you are not paying towards a pension. Without an allowance, your salary is 24,318 rand. With an inhospitable allowance of 12%, your salary is 26,012 rand, and with a rural allowance, it's 26,718. As a pharmacist community service, your salary is 463,413. This, once again, is when you opt out of pension. So without an allowance you're earning 30,625. With the in-hospitable allowance, it's 32,196. With the rural, it's 32,851. As a pharmacist grade 1, 2, and 3, you earn between 693,372 to 821,205. Here you would have to contribute to pension, as this are not contract posts, and without an allowance you earn 37,487 and 40,447 with the in-hospitable and 41,681. As a pharmacy supervisor with 3 years of experience, you can move on to 821,205. As you can see, the pharmacist grade 3 and a pharmacy supervisor earn the same starting salary. As an assistant manager, deputy manager, manager, you require 3 years of experience. Assistant manager is usually seen in district hospitals, deputy manager in regional, manager in the district office, possibly in the central and tertiary hospitals, and then a senior manager at head office. The maximum salary you can earn is 71,904 in a rural area. Let's look at the clinical and policy specialist salaries. As a clinical pharmacist, so once you've completed your master's in clinical pharmacology, you will be eligible to take up a position as a clinical pharmacist grade 1. You have to have 3 years of experience as a pharmacist with a master's. Your total cost to employer is 897,936. Without an allowance, your salary is 46,292. That's after paying your pension and taxes. With an in-hospitable allowance of 12%, you get 50,000 rands, and with a rural allowance of 17%, your salary moves to 51,546. Pharmaceutical policy specialist earns the same as a clinical pharmacologist, salary being 897,936. The senior pharmaceutical policy specialist earns 1,026,693. Let's look at the sessional rates. As a sessional pharmacist with less than 5 years of experience, you'll be earning 334 rands per hour. With 5 to 13 years of experience, 362 rands per hour. And with 13 or more years of experience, you earn 395 rands per hour. As a sessional pharmacist assistant post-basic, with less than 5 years experience, you earn 138 rand per hour. With 5 to 13 years, you earn 160, and with 13 years or more, it's 173 rands per hour. As a sessional pharmacist assistant basic, the hourly rate is 82 rands. So as I've gone through the salaries, I hope this has been beneficial to you. So now you know how much a pharmacist and a pharmacist assistant in the public sector earns. If you're in the private sector, you can use this as a comparison to help you negotiate from a point of advantage. Thank you for joining me today looking at the salary of pharmacy assistants and pharmacists in South Africa. If you like what you heard, press the like button. If you want to hear more content of this nature, press the subscribe button. And if you want to find out more about this talk, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. And finally, if you want to enhance your career and get into the management field, I would suggest you click on the video on the left dealing with the salaries of CEOs in South Africa. See you soon.